everybody, Anna Krueger here. And I know today is a hot topic because this is our highest attended webinar in several months. So I know a lot of you are curious, how do I find listings right now? That is the question on everybody's mind. Have you seen those memes of here's a little playhouse selling for $2 million, right? The market right now, we need listings. So today we're going to talk about how to circle prospect specific to listings. Yeah, I'm going to make sure I give you enough that when the market changes, you can still use the general construct of this scripting call today, okay? As I'm getting ready to jump in, if you would type in real quick and let us know where you're from and what exactly it is that you do. So some of you are agents, some of you are team leaders. Let us know where you are and what it is that you do. That would be awesome. In case you don't know, my name's Anna, and I've been in ISA since 2006. I actually love outbound prospecting, so calling, looking for listings is my favorite thing, and it's the thing I excelled at when I was in the position. So I now coach full-time lead gen, lead conversion. We have some classes coming up. You can check those out at annascoaching.com. We're going to get into a lot of that today, but just know there's a lot to learn to make you an excellent lead generation master, right? Like, how do you build relationships with people? How do you create urgency so they actually do what they said they would do? We talk about all that stuff in the program. Awesome. Looks like a lot of ISAs here. Very good. A couple agents, quite a few agents actually. So awesome. Good to see you guys. All right. So let's get into circle prospecting. Make sure that you get your notes ready. Because I'm going to give you a lot of steps to follow as you make these calls. As I go, if you have questions, please type those in. All right, so first, what is circle calling? Because I get a lot of like, what is that? How's that work? So circle calling is when you basically pick a neighborhood and then you circle call around it and you call the neighbors. That's basically what circle prospecting is. Some people choose to do this, so you can just write this down. Some people choose to do that around a house that they have listed, because your name is already on a sign. So it's going to raise that awareness of, oh, I saw your name on the sign. Now I'm hearing from you. I'm connecting, right? So you can choose to do this around a house that you have listed. You could choose to do this for maybe you have a neighborhood where you have a buyer that really wants to buy in that neighborhood and there's nothing there. You could call the neighbors and say, hey, I have a buyer. So there's a lot of different reasons why you could pick a neighborhood to call. Here's an important metric to check out though. Make sure that whatever neighborhood you're calling, you have a 6% or higher turnover ratio. 6% or higher turnover ratio. What does that mean? So if I'm going to call a neighborhood, I want to make sure that if 100 people live there, at least 6 of them are going to move this year, or it wouldn't make sense to call that neighborhood. And that's just because if you're going to spend your time, we want to make sure that you get good return for your time. There's a good website, and I'll be honest with you, it's been a little while since I've done this because I've been coaching. Yet I used to use what's called melissadata.com. I'll put it in the chat box, melissadata.com, and that would give you some information about turnover rates for certain zip codes in neighborhoods. So you can check that out. But you want to find a neighborhood that has a 6% or higher turnover rate. That way the calls are worth your time. The other thing to know, another metric to write down, is it usually takes 75 to 100 conversations in order to set one appointment. So if you've ever taken a training with me before, you know that we're really big on saying, ask about motivation, get their motivation. Why do they want to move? Why were they on your website? What was the reason they came to the open house? Circle calls are different, and here's why. All of the other lead sources that we've trained on, they somehow indicated a real estate interest. They either had a house listed for sale that expired, maybe they had a for sale by owner, maybe they were on our website. So it makes sense to really dig into the reason they had an interest in buying or selling. However, when I'm circle calling, I might be calling someone who loves their house and they are never going to move. They don't ever want to move. They love the place. It wouldn't make sense to spend a significant amount of time digging into their motivation. Knowing that it takes 75 to 100 answers, so they actually picked up the phone, they said hello, there was a two-way conversation, even if it was brief, it was a conversation. If they said hello and you guys interacted for a second, knowing it takes 75 to 100, I'm not going to take a lot of time to dive deep if this person isn't indicating interest. Okay. All right. Any questions on that? So pickup ratios, conversations, anything about the conversion metrics before we actually get into the scripting? One other thing as you guys type in is just know circle calling is you're doing this for the long game. Okay. When I call a FSBO, I know that if I talk to 10 people, we're going to set an appointment. It's going to happen. And they're going to do something like right now because they're already listed for sale by owner. They're motivated right now. Circle calling is something that will pay off right now a little bit, right? The 100 calls to find one good person to set an appointment with, that's going to pay off right now. Know that it's usually 6 months to 12 months before you really start to see it pay off. So this is something you're not going to make your entire day because we need a variety of lead sources to get right now business. However, this is absolutely something you can do to find listings right now and build your pipeline for listings later. Okay, I don't see any questions about our conversion metrics. So now let's talk about what we say. So when you call, I'm just going to pretend that you guys are the call. So ring, 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 you pick up. Hey, this is Anna calling from the Haro group with Keller Williams. Thank you for taking my call. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue. And we'll stop right there. So again, let them know who you are and where you're calling from. Express gratitude that they took your phone call. And I hope you're writing this down in the steps. And the reason we express gratitude is it makes it harder for them to hang up. If I said, thank you guys so much for being here on this webinar right now, I know you set aside time to join me today, it probably feels a little funkier to just disappear, right? So when we call a lead and we say, hey, thank you so much for taking my phone call, it's going to lessen the chance that they will hang up on you. Doesn't mean you won't still get hangups, but it will lessen as many as you get. Then you're going to say, I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue. The reason for that, how many of you have ever circle called and you have people like, what? Who's this? How'd you get my number? So if you just acknowledge off the top, like, I know I'm calling you out of the blue, usually they'll kind of chuckle or laugh with you and agree, and that gets you into some pretty fast rapport. So again, to do that opener again, hey, this is Anna calling from the Haro group, Keller Williams. Thank you so much for taking my phone call. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue today. And again, I like to kind of chuckle as I say that. That's your opener, okay? Then what you're going to do is anchor the call with good news. So whatever the market is, talk about what's going on that's the good news of the moment. So right now, it's good news. What's the good news, right? Put it in the chat box. The good news is if you own a house, you probably have a lot more equity than you realize. It's a great time to sell a house. So call with good news about whatever's going on. So right now it would be, hey, this is Anna calling from the Haro group, Keller Williams. Thank you for taking my call. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue. And the reason I'm calling you is we have great news about your neighborhood. And then share the market specific. That's going to be different for all of you, but share whatever is going on in that neighborhood that you want to highlight, okay? It even could be something as simple as, I have 12 buyers that are looking to move into your immediate area because you live in such a great place. So that could be the positive news. So it could be a statistic. It could be equity, a lot of equity. It could be, I have this many buyers looking to buy a home in your area. But you want to complement it, right? I'm calling because we have a lot of people that want to live in your neighborhood because you live in a fantastic place. Something like that. I wish I could see your all faces. I want to know if you have questions. So I'll just rely on the chat box here. Okay, so we've opened the call and I've let them know I'm calling with good news. Here's the good news. Then I'm going to ask who, not do you know, because that's a yes or no. It's who do you know that's looking to sell in this neighborhood, sell their house in this neighborhood. And what I find, just to be realistic, usually the first time I ask, they're like, Can't think of anything. You know how if you're out with friends and they're like, oh, tell me a funny story from your childhood, or, oh yeah, let's remember some funny college stories from our college days. When you're in the moment like that, it's just hard to think, right? It can be hard to think of what I know I had funny stories, but I don't know what they are right now. That's kind of what's happening when we call and just say, who do you know that's looking to sell? So don't get discouraged if they don't know someone right away. And so if they say, I don't know, the second question you're going to ask, who do you know that's looking to downsize, upsize? Know your neighborhood, guys. You got to know the neighborhood you're calling. So if you're calling a neighborhood with huge homes, you might call and say, who do you know that's looking to downsize? Maybe they're empty nesters. If you're calling a neighborhood that is very close to downtown, you might say, who do you know that's looking to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city and is considering selling their home? Maybe you live in a suburb. You could say, who do you know that really wants to get closer to the city, that's been talking about that? The reason we do this, guys, is most people hate moving. How many of you love to move and think, I cannot wait to pack all of my belongings into a box and move them across town, right? That is a nightmare. So most people don't sit around and say the words, I want to move, or I love to move. But what they do, sit around at lunchtime with their friends, they'll go grab coffee with a friend and say, man, I really need to downsize. The kids are out of the house and the house is too big. It's too quiet. That is the thing that people say. Or people will say things like, I wish I lived closer to downtown. My commute is killing me. People do say things like that. So the first question is going to be, who do you know that wants to sell? And they might not know, because nobody says the sentence, I want to sell, right? Or some people might. But the better question is going to be the second one. Who do you know that wants to downsize, upsize, closer to town, further from town, whatever it is that's unique to that neighborhood, okay? So to recap, I'm going to go through that whole first part with you to keep it simple, and then we'll finish out with how do you end this call, or how do you get the referral. So ring, ring, ring. Hey, this is Anna from the Haro Group, Keller Williams. Thank you so much for taking my call today. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue, and I'm calling you with great news. I actually have 12 buyers that want to live in your neighborhood. Who do you know that's thinking about selling? We're looking to find a house. And then just wait a second. And then, okay, great. I really appreciate you thinking about that. Who do you know that's talked about living closer to downtown that might want to move out of your neighborhood and get closer to the city? Who do you know that's wanted to be closer to the lake? Things like that. All right, if you have any questions on that first part, go ahead and put them in the box. So let's talk about, what if they know someone? I know I used to run into, they know someone, but I'm a stranger and they don't want to tell me the info. Sometimes they give it right away. So here's what you can do. If they're hesitant to share the information, the best thing that I have found, and it works probably not quite half the time, I would say maybe 40% of the time it does work, which is way better than it not working. You can say something like, how about this? What if you went ahead and gave me their information now, but I commit that I will not call them until tomorrow? That'll give you a chance to ask, and also tell them that I'm going to call. And if they don't want a call me back and let me know. How about that? So again, the verbiage, if they have a referral, but they're hesitant to give you the contact info, it's, what if you gave me their info now and I will not call them until tomorrow? That'll give you a chance to give them a heads up. And if they don't want to be called, let me know. Okay. That's your verbiage. Eric, I see your question. I'll come back to that in just a second. I'll stay on script and then we'll get to that. All right. So big picture, we've opened the call. We've told them what's great about the market. We've asked them who they know that wants to sell, and then deeper, who do you know that wants to downsize, upsize, whatever. Ideally, they have a referral and they give you the name. And if they don't, you're going to say, okay, what if you gave me their name and I'll call them tomorrow? that will work. If they still don't want to give it to you, just agree on when you'll connect again to get it. So it might sound like, hey, Hannah, when will you see Marcy to ask her? And when can we connect so I can get that phone number? That would be another option. Okay. Now, we're done asking for a referral, whether they gave us one or not. Either way, the next thing you're going to do, and this can lead to some great conversation. The second part of this overall phone call is to ask them about their house. The way I like to do that is to say, I'm just curious. Everyone would change something. If you could change something about your house, what would it be? And the reason I love this question, I love my house. I honestly, if you circle called me, you're not getting an appointment. I love where I live. But there are things I would change about this house. I have a friend who custom built her home. It wasn't a pre-planned thing. Like they thought of all their wants and wishes and designed a home. And after she moved in, she said, I wish I had put the outlets in the kitchen in a different place. So the point I'm making is everyone has something that they would change about their home if they could. So it's a great opener to get into their house. So, hey, Hannah, if you could change something about your house, what would it be? And the reason you're doing this, guys, is it's going to open the door. It's going to go really three ways after you open this door. One, I love my house. There's nothing I would change. Okay, great. Bye. Because I need 100 contacts to find somebody. So I'm just going to move on. The other thing it might do is they might say, yeah, I do wish my outlets were in a different spot in the kitchen, and I would love a ceiling fan in the great room. Well, they're not going to move over that, right? However, think about the rapport that would be built if I got them connected to a contractor in our network that could possibly help them with those electrical outlets and the ceiling fan in the great room. Would that not be a wow factor? Let me save your number. And now I've built a great connection with someone who may refer me someone or remember me for their own house in the future. So that's kind of option number 2. So again, what would you change about your house if you could change something? 1, it might go nowhere. 2, they might need some help around the house that I can provide a contractor. 3, they might say something big enough that they would change that maybe it makes sense to move, right? I have a friend who recently here in Greenville, they were about to put a lot of money into their home to renovate it. Well, they were browsing the internet and found a house that actually had it all finished already. So even though they had to pack up and move, thought of months and months and months of heavy construction on their home. So all of a sudden they decided to move. So what if I ask this person, well, what would you change about your house if you could change something? And all of a sudden they say, I wish I had an extra bedroom and about 200 more square feet of living space. Well, that might be a contractor or that might actually be somebody who would be interested to sell their house, right? So that could lead to a conversation. So again, big picture circle, hope you're writing all this down. You're going to open the call, express gratitude, and acknowledge I'm calling you out of the blue. Then you're going to tell them something great about the market. And then you're going to ask them who they know. If they have someone, great. And if they don't have someone, we're still going to keep going. Okay. Then after we're done asking for referrals and we've closed that part of the conversation, I'm going to say, well, how is your home fitting your needs? And based on what they say, the conversation will either end pretty quickly, which is good because I have 99 more contacts to find someone to set an appointment with, right? Or maybe it'll lead to a potential listing appointment if they have major things they want to change, or it might lead to, let me get you in touch with someone that might be able to help you with that project. Okay. Those would be really the options. Again, we're not looking like every other lead source I've trained you on. We talk about going very deep into motivation. You would only do that if there is a signal that this person you're talking to may actually want to move. Otherwise, there doesn't really make a lot of sense to go deep into motivation. Okay, so that's how it works. So, hey, this is Anna calling from the Haro Group. Thank you so much for taking my call today. Hey, I'm calling you out of the blue. Hey, I'm calling you with great news. I actually have 12 people that very much desire to live in your neighborhood, and you live in a great place. There's no houses for sale. So I'm curious, who do you know that's looking to sell? Okay, great. Well, what about, have you heard anyone, or who have you heard talking about maybe getting closer to downtown, upsizing, downsizing, whatever? Um, if they know someone, get the info. If they don't know someone, you're going to keep going anyway. And then it's great. Well, how about your home? I love talking real estate. What would you change about your house if you could change something? And then it'll either end the call or you can provide some assistance. Either way. What I recommend right before you hang up is say, hey, save my number in your phone as real estate. If you are a licensed realtor, you could say, save my number in your phone as realtor. You cannot say that if you are not licensed. So then maybe you would just say, save my number in your phone as real estate. But that way, anytime you need something home related, just call me. Punch in real estate, my name will pop up, and I can get you connected with an agent. I could possibly refer you to a contractor. But anytime you need anything house related, call me and get them to save your number in their phone. I used to do that habitually, and I had someone call me once from Florida. I'm in South Carolina, so very far apart. And they just said, I don't really remember this, but you're in my phone as realtor. And I have, I think it was a mom or somebody, I don't remember. They had a relative that was moving and they needed help getting that person connected. And I thought, well, I don't know when I talked to him, but I'm glad he saved my number in his phone as realtor because I just got a referral out of that. So that's one way you can maximize that call. Okay, go ahead and type in any questions you have. And remember, this is recorded. You'll get a playback of this. So that was a lot. If you need to go back and catch it again, you will get a recording. By the way, we teach a lot more of this in the class, Mastering Inside Sales. This was like a quick rundown. We teach over 19 language patterns in the class, Mastering Inside Sales. It starts actually 2 weeks from Thursday. So May 12th is the next class, Mastering Inside Sales. It's not offered again until the end of the year. So if you want help getting better at talking with people, engaging them, being relational, actually getting appointments to show up, go to annascoaching.com and you'll see that class, Mastering Inside Sales, sitting right there. In fact, I'll just go ahead and put it up on the screen for you real quick. And I'll answer questions while I do that. Okay, so Eric, you had a question about which neighborhoods to pick. By the way, this is annascoaching.com, and you'll see the class that pops up right here. Okay. All right, so you're asking about which neighborhoods to prospect. I would say it just depends on your market, right? So if you have a house listed for sale, you might get more return for your effort because they're going to see that sign in the yard. So there's going to be more recognition, right? So when you call them, they're already going to be somewhat familiar with your name, and that may help this happen. Ultimately, I would pick areas that you want to have a house listed, right? So if there's a certain neighborhood that you have a lot of buyers looking, call that neighborhood. So you are going to customize that a bit to your market and your team needs at the moment. But again, pick a neighborhood that has a 6% or higher turnover rate. And you can find that at melissadata.com. If it's below 6%, it doesn't mean it's terrible to call it, but you do need to recognize it will take more calls to find someone moving. And you might do that because maybe it's a neighborhood that has a really high price point, and you say one house is worth 3 in another neighborhood. So yeah, I'm going to call it even though it has a lower turnover rate. So there might be a logical reason why you would call a neighborhood with a lower turnover rate, but 6% or higher is generally what you want. Okay, once you've contacted someone and they said they're going to move 6 to 12 months in the future, what methods can you use to fence them in or keep them interested? The biggest thing I would say, Rick, is find out why they want to move. So, and this is something we talk about a ton in the class, about what's making you want to move, what's important about that to you. It usually takes 3 minutes to uncover someone's true motivation. Once you have their motivation, the best thing you can do, Rick, if they're saying, I really want this, and I'm going to wait 12 months, just ask them, Rick, I heard you say you wanted XYZ. what is the benefit of waiting until the fall? And then just be quiet. So I could ask this, you should take Mastering Inside Sales. What is the benefit of waiting, right? Like, it can be hard to answer that question. So when you're talking with a buyer or seller and they want to wait, talk about their motivation and ask them, how does it benefit you to wait to get that motivation? Now, Rick, they might have a very legitimate reason. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe they're fixing credit. Who knows what's going on, right? But that would be a good question to see if we can bump up that timeline. Eric says, do you verify who's on the phone? I mean, I like to know that I have the right person, but here's the deal. There is no wrong number unless they're on the do not call list, because my job is to talk to humans to see if they have a real estate need. So I don't care if I call a house and the vet's office picks up, right? And I hear dogs barking in the background because I accidentally called the vet. Hey, while I have you, this is kind of funny. I don't know how I got your number. While I have you, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? I work in real estate. So in my mind, there are no wrong numbers in real estate. It's a human. Find out if they have a real estate need. And even if they, maybe that could be a referral. Okay, good script to get their email. Angela, I recommend that you would just say, hey, I would love to send you my contact info so you don't lose it. What's your best email address? And that's it. That way, Angela, if you have questions, you can just reply to that email or call me. So Angela, what's your email so I can send you my contact info? There you go. Jessica, thank you for, Jessica and Taylor. Hey guys, thank you so much for shouting out the class. Michael, it's $199 a month and you pay it for 6 months. So it's a 6-month program. You get 3 webinars a month and then we take a week off. The reason we do that, and Jessica and Ann can probably attest to this, you get a lot of information each webinar. We maximize it, right? And so we give a 1-week break every month so you can actually get it in your head, get it mastered, so that when we go on to the next month, you have your baseline there. So we're not wanting to overwhelm you. So we do 3 webinars a month, take a week off. It's $199 a month. You get 19 language patterns. So things like, how do you leave a voicemail that actually gets a call back? How do you set appointments that actually show up? How do you truly uncover client motivation? Lots of things like that. We also give you 4 tracking systems. That way, if you have tracking on your team, great. A lot of people tell me we do not have great tracking systems. So we provide all that for you. You can find script partners, all that stuff. Oh, yeah, you guys are awesome. Typing in, this is filling my bucket this afternoon. Mike says, I can testify as a past participant. It's relational and conversational and accelerated my learning curve from scripts to setting high quality appointments. Yay! I'm glad to hear that, Mike. And Kat said, fantastic class. Thank you, guys. That really fills my bucket. Yeah, when I know I teach the class, guys, and I would still say this if someone else taught the class, okay? When quarantine started, sat down and thought through, this is how I entertained myself in quarantine. I thought, what are all of the things that I wish I had known when I was a new ISA? And made this huge list. And then I gave it to other ISAs and said, put your eyes on this. What else should people know? And that's how it became an 18 webinar class. I didn't set out to write an 18, session class. That's how many it took to teach everything that we wish we had known when we were new. So that's where it came from. And it's just under 1,200 when you take 199 times 6 months, it's just under 1,200. One closing right now on average is between 7,500 and 10,000. So if you get one extra closing from the class, you already have great ROI. And in the last class, someone said in 1 month, they're having 10 helds higher than they'd ever had in a month. So not 10 set, not 10 more contacts, 10 held appointments increase, and they were only in month 2 of the class. So I really believe it is one of the best classes out there. And again, I know I teach it. I'm not saying it because I teach it. I'm saying it because I'm passionate about it. And I want to help you guys be successful. Michael, the sessions are recorded. So we record every class. They're live. And unlike right now, I can't see you guys, but in the actual class, I can see your faces. We're interacting. You guys can see each other. So again, it can really help build your community so you're not feeling like you're by yourself as an ISA. And we do record everything. I think it's best when you're there live because I love to see you. And also it's interactive. But if you need to catch the recording or if you want to watch something 5 times, go for it. All right. Thank you. Oh, Anne, thank you. That's such a great shout out. That really does fill my bucket because, guys, when I started this in 2015, I just started coaching on Facebook for free, thinking I love this. And maybe one day it can be my job to train people because I would love to help them get better. I'm all about the ripple effect. So it fills my bucket to see what you guys are saying. Debbie, thank you so much. Awesome. Christian says, do you feel cold calling is going to be viable in the long term with programs like Robo Killer? That's a great question. And that's why we talk a lot about building your network in your Met database. So I don't know. That's a good question. I do know that there is a big push towards keeping up with your database, past clients, asking for referrals. That is definitely going to be what's stable in your business because you can control that, right? If I have a past relationship with someone, they were a past client, they're going to pick up the phone. So you want to keep building that up. All right, before we go, one last time, let me show you where to find the class. Go to Anna's, go to annascoaching.com. This little box will pop up that you'll see here in just a second, and this is the class. So you'll just click on that, learn more, and then click sign up now. And if you want to read more, just scroll down. Here's everything that we've got. Here's a little checklist of things included. So just go to annascoaching.com. When the little box pops up, click learn more, and it'll bring you to this page. And we start on May the 12th. So just about 2 weeks away. All right, guys, we're over time, and I want to respect your time and Hannah's time. She's our moderator today. You guys are great. I love seeing so many people I recognize. That's been one fun thing about the Zoom class is we can actually see each other. And I feel like I know so many of you so much better than I used to because of the class. So I love it. All right, guys, I will see you hopefully May 12th and go make some calls. I hope things go well for you today. Bye, guys. Oh, Linda, do the recordings have a limited time to go back or are they there for as long as we want? So you really have access to the portal for 8 months for the 6-month class, and then they do go away. However, you get a workbook with every class that has all of the slide information in there. So just take good notes and you'll still have the info. The videos will disappear 60 days after the very last session. So you'll basically have 8 months access to that 6-month program. Okay. I think I got them all now. All right, guys, I'll see you hopefully on May 12th. And tell a friend. Let's fill up this class and really get ISAs and agents alike succeeding in lead gen. All right, have a great day, everybody.